Hi, everyone. We are so glad you've joined us today. Hi, Mama Judy.
Hi, Jilly.
Well, today, Mama Judy and I wanted to let you know about a few changes that are going to be taking place going forward on the Mama Judy and Jill podcast. Fun things, to tell you the truth. Mama Judy and I had a conversation a couple weeks back where I called her, and I want everyone to listen, and just, I'm sure you've been there before, but I'm mentioning this just because I thought I'd be transparent about something that most everyone deals with. But anyway, I called Mama Judy and said, we've been doing these podcasts every single week and publishing them and all. And I do the back end. So I do all the kind of the back end, uploading it to the podcast players and the videos and all that. And I just told Mama Judy, with my full-time job and my life and everything else, it was actually becoming a little too much. I was starting to stress about it. And we started out with this whole thing for it to be fun and for the two of us to get together. And then the bonus has been this wonderful community that we've gained through the podcast and our YouTube videos. And so it's been so much fun. So the problem solvers that Mama Judy and I are, we decided, how can we make this easier? Ultimately easier on me. The heavy lifting on the backside was the thing. So we have come up with a really good plan, we believe, and we hope that you will be on board with us. Anything before we start mentioning what we're talking about, Mama Judy?
No, everything you said is right, Jill. And I have no life, so I'm open to doing anything you want.
Well, and I think one thing Mama Judy told me when we had the conversation is, Mama Judy, you mentioned about being flexible, the word
Yes,
flexibility, which you chose for your word for the focus of your year.
absolutely. And this is my first opportunity after the first of the year to put that into practice. Let's be flexible in what we do. And as we said, friends, I don't want this to be an onerous, heavy duty for Jill. So we're making these changes to keep the core of who we are, but allow a little bit lighter on Jill's end, because she does do all of the back end. All I have to do is show up and pontificate a little bit. She does all the heavy lifting. So that's the background. And we wanted to share in why we're making these decisions.
Yes. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is we've decided that podcast. So, if you're listening to this right now or you're watching it on our YouTube channel, we're still going to have the podcast, but we're going to be recording and publishing it the first Wednesday of every month. So, the first Wednesday of every month, starting in March 2024, though, right now it's January 2024 when we're recording, we decided to take the month of February off as far as recording podcasts and all that. So, the first Wednesday in March, but you can just, on your mind, you could think, oh, first Wednesdays, that's when Mama Judy and Jill are going to have their podcast released. So that will be fun for us. And we'll still do this same type of format that we've done for the last 30 something episodes, 32 episodes, I think we're at right now. And so that's first off, we'll still have the podcast portion. And then secondly, we're going to introduce, we wanted to do something a little fun and that's easier technologically, I would say, especially.
Yeah.
And our YouTube page, we have a lot of people that like to watch our videos on YouTube and people that just use YouTube. I use it also as an artist, and I know you do too, Mama Judy. So we thought it would be fun to create some content that's specifically to YouTube, and maybe some bleeds into the podcast. So talk a little bit about that, Mama Judy, what we're going to do.
Well, Jill, one of the things we talked about, of course, is that I often get questions on my journals, how I do a certain binding, how I achieve a certain look. And I thought perhaps something like choosing one or two things that I do that maybe I think somebody else doesn't do. We could do, I don't know, let's keep it around 15 minutes, give or take. And we do a tip episode or a how-to, if you want to call it that. Remember, everybody, we're still opening to planning this, but that is one thing I thought would fit in our new format.
Right. And so, and Mama Judy and I both will do that. Probably Mama
Yeah.
Judy more, but we don't know. I mean, I love to teach. And so if there's something that I think is really cool that I'm working on, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to share this. That's the kind of stuff that I would pop in and record a video on YouTube and just load it up right there. Nice and easy and helpful, hopefully. And then Mama Judy, the same. And then some of the content, if we feel like Mama Judy was using this example earlier, if she's teaching someone how to do a certain binding or how to create a certain page, and it does translate to audio only, we can for sure take the audio and put that up on the podcast and use that as well. But I would say a lot of our content is going to be more focused on YouTube, with exception to that first Wednesday, consistently being on both audio platforms as well as the YouTube.
Yes. And then, if you look out there in the technological universe, there are all kinds of things that we could include on those different Wednesdays where we don't have the podcast that would require less work on your part. And we will be developing those. And so, Jill, in order for people to make sure that they know ahead of time what's coming up, is there a way that we can tell them how to get that information?
Yes, we are going to provide a link wherever you're watching or listening to this. We're going to have a link right below, and it's just a little link to join our newsletter. So I have been sending out a newsletter every single Wednesday morning, telling about the podcast, maybe giving some behind the scenes type information over the last almost year at this point with our podcast. So it will be no different. So if you get on that list, you're the first to know about the podcast, but as well as things that we're doing on YouTube. I will let people know on that. So that's the best way. The link will be right below, very clear. Just join the newsletter and then you'll be hearing from us there.
You bet. And again, we say this every time, but I'm going to repeat it again. If you have any thoughts or things that you like to see or would be interested in, we're very, very open to receiving that information.
Yes, indeed. Well, and we want to thank you all for being on this journey with us and continuing along with us. And we hope that this doesn't throw a wrench in your style. I feel like we've been producing so much content, though. Maybe this will give people time to catch up if they haven't already listened or watched other episodes.
Absolutely. And we highly encourage you to go back and listen to them, because I know for myself, whether it's a movie or a book, I like to read them 2 or 3 times because I pick up something new every single time. So we don't want those other episodes to die a death out in the universe. We would like you to go back and listen to them, and we'll move forward with new and creative ideas. And perhaps we can make this a collaborative effort with our audience also.
Yes, and I wanted to also say one more thing. I sort of framed it up at the beginning, but especially for women, I found myself that I was burning the candle at both ends. And what happened with that was that I wasn't creating as much. Yes, I was creating the stuff for this podcast, but a lot of it was on the back end, the technical stuff. And then I was too pooped at the end of the day of working full time doing this kind of stuff to then be stitching. And so I really did find myself, I pulled back a little bit from the creation because this is so important to me and it has been fun. I don't want this to feel like a woe is me type situation. I love doing that back end stuff too, but it was just a lot for what my life looks like in this season. And so I told Mama Judy too, I'm like, I haven't been posting on Instagram for fun. I haven't been creating as much as I want to. And that is also one of the main parts of what we talk about on this podcasting is allowing yourself the space, the time, the rituals, the routines to be creative. And that was starting to taper off for me. So that's why this is a fun and exciting new development within the Mama Judy and Jill podcast. And anyway, I just wanted to, because I know a lot of women in particular take on a lot more and maybe they just don't say anything for so long, but there's such freedom in saying it and you can figure out a good way to move forward like we have.
Jill, you are living that phrase, do as I say, not as or do as I do, not as I say. So we've been saying it, now you're doing it. So my hat is off to Jill for coming forward and saying, this is where I am. And what do you think? And we talked about it, and we are coming up with the best solutions for all of us, I believe.
Yes. Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you. So we will have a podcast episode, like I said, again, the first Wednesday of March, and then every month forward. I don't know if Mama Judy decides to drop something in YouTube as far as a training tutorial or what. That may happen. And if so, again, if you're on that newsletter, you'll hear first, however we move forward in that way, and let you know about stuff that's going to take place as well. And we have some
Yeah,
other fun little things up our sleeves as far as doing some co-working sessions together on the YouTube channel.
I better get bigger sleeves. What do you think?
Yeah. All right,
No,
everyone. Thanks for being here with us. We love you and happy
we,
creating.
we do. So thank you all very much.
All right, Mama Judy. Love you dearly.
Love you too, my dear.
Bye.
Bye bye.